Hello, everyone. Good morning on
Good
this
morning, Jenny.
Wednesday hump day. Hey, Selena, thanks for being here. This is awkward because this is actually Selena's going to interview me.
So excited to
Um,
do this. This is so
I'm really,
fun.
I'm really glad you agreed to it. Selena has been, let's call Selena a volunteer with Heart of a Mother since like forever. And she has been
Yes.
very gracious in helping with all kinds of things, mostly the Facebook group, but also just she's my go-to like beta tester and brainstormer and all that. So I'm really
We've
grateful
done a
that you,
couple of we've done a couple of homeschool retreats together.
yes, we've done retreats.
Those have been so fun.
They've been good. They've been good. So thanks for doing this. I will let you take it away and introduce yourself, and then, you're supposed to interview me. So have fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm Selena. I'm from Central Texas. I've been homeschooling for 10 years, I think. 10 years. It's crazy. We have a high schooler this year, a middle schooler, and then my youngest, Augustine, is in his last year of elementary. I know. I was pregnant with Augustine when I met Jenny. So it's been that long that she's been in my life, and I'm really excited. Don't
Oh,
start crying. So before we get started on the interview, I'm going to play a quick game of this or that. Okay?
okay.
So, Jenny, morning basket or afternoon tea time?
Morning basket,
Science experiment or a nature walk?
nature walk,
Book club on Zoom or book club in person?
in person.
Saint Therese of Avila or Saint or Mother Teresa of Calcutta?
Teresa of Avila,
Ooh, the studious one. Tea or coffee?
tea,
I know. Library trips or subscription boxes?
library,
Drop off classes or co-op?
co-op.
Co-op. Wow, I'm
That was hard.
surprised. Workbooks or iPads?
Workbooks,
Daily mass or adoration?
adoration. That's a hard one.
It is a hard one. Art museum or history museum?
Art museum. For me, I'm like, what do I like?
It's really hard because when you want to do what your kids like, then it doesn't always serve you. And that's the whole family. School's out at 2 or we're done when we're done.
Was at it too.
Ooh, I'm surprised.
Are
Blanket
you?
fort, the floor is lava.
Blanket fort, cozy,
Yep. Rosary or Lectio Divina?
Lectio Divina.
Audiobooks or read aloud?
Read aloud.
Dino chicken nuggets or PB&J?
TBJ.
St. Francis or St. Augustine?
Saint Francis.
Not
I
surprised.
was going back and forth on that.
What is your favorite part about being Catholic?
Oh, um, I think that there's truth that it's reliable. I can find the answers, but also in the same breath that I'm never going to know all the answers, and that's okay.
See, that surprises me that you didn't pick St. Augustine because that's a very St. Augustine thing to say.
Yes, and I was on the fence on that, but since I said Teresa of Avila, I felt like I couldn't pick another brainiac because I'm not a brainiac.
The two of us, you're the brainiac.
No, different strengths, Miss Science Girl, math.
That's true. Um, just give us a brief history of your homeschool life from beginning with
Yeah.
your oldest.
So we have homeschooled all the kids since the beginning. They've never been to brick and mortar anything. Um, and so my oldest is now a senior in college. And she took a gap year after high school. And we like doubled up on another year in the middle there. So I've been homeschooling. This is my 19th year. So
Wow.
people start doing the math and like, wait, what? Um, so when we started homeschooling, I was a classroom teacher that was my career, and I taught middle school language arts. Sort of loved it, sort of hated it, love-hate relationship. But when, I had my kids, wasn't working at the time, and then when we were trying to decide what to do for schooling, I didn't think we would actually homeschool. We knew a lot of homeschool families, but we were trying to find an answer, and there just wasn't a good fit. Um, I wanted to send her to school, to be honest, for my own sanity, because I had another little baby then. Also, oldest girl, if you have one of those. Um, it was a challenge, but I just prayed about it a lot. And I felt like the Lord was saying, just try homeschooling, just try bringing her, keeping her home, keeping her close, and see what happens. And I fell in love with it. So never looked back. My husband at the time let me do homeschooling like 1 year at a time. So I had to be really like cautious and slow with like the commitment, but we homeschooled all the way through high school. We've always done our own thing. We've never been enrolled in any program or done any hybrid or anything like that. We've done a few co-ops here and there, sprinkling throughout, mostly when we moved to a new place. Um, but we just kind of stuck with it and loved it and still love it. And now my husband would never let me send them to school.
My husband would never let me send them to school. So he was always like the long-term vision type guy,
Right.
but he never really helped with planning or setting examples for materials he wanted to use. He just knew that he wanted them family first, and
Yes.
family was their foundation. Throughout the years, what were some of the homeschool philosophies that you used or methods that you stayed true to with your kids?
Right. Um, yeah, that's funny because my husband also is just like, I trust you with figuring it out. Like, I want you to do this, but I'm
Yeah,
not going to help. Don't talk to me about curriculum. Don't talk to me
yeah,
about philosophies. And I'm fine with that because it does give me a lot of freedom. It's a stressor that it gives me a lot of responsibility too. I started out pretty passionately Charlotte Mason and stuck with that for many, many years and worked really, really well for my first two kids for a while. And then I think we had another baby and things got a little more complicated. So I would sub things out. And then they wanted to move into some more classical learning, the older
sure.
two. So we kind of did that. I've got four. I didn't even say that. Um, I talked about my daughter, but I have an oldest daughter and three boys.
Three
Can't
boys.
talk. So my oldest two are in college, and then I have two boys at home still, and one's ninth grade and one's seventh grade this year. So once we got to number three, like things started changing a bit in our family experiences, and we just subbed stuff out until we were kind of doing a mishmash of Charlotte Mason, classical, traditional, eclectic, and really now it's whatever works. That's my
Right.
like,
And
if
I
you say
think, yeah,
that's my
that's the next,
philosophy.
that was the next question. Like, what are the factors that go into changing what's not working to make it work? Whether
Hmm.
it's the gender of the student, the personality, like what are some key things that you look for in your kids to make you realize that's not working, I need to pivot?
Right. So obviously, if there's like frustration with the work, it's too
Yeah.
hard or it's just not taught in a way that makes sense to the child. A lot of it is attitude too. And so noticing, okay, they're struggling or they're resistant and they're really just have a nasty attitude. What's going on here? And assessing why. Sometimes
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with the schoolwork. They're growing and they're not eating enough or sleeping enough or they're sick or there's some other need that they have. But a lot of times it's when the kids start to get ugly, it's because the material is not the right fit for them.
Yeah.
So I look at that and try to figure out why. And I know one of the things that is amazing about homeschooling is you know what your kids know. So I
Yeah.
can tell if they're grasping it. And if they're
Yeah.
not, then I need to pivot. I reassess. And if it's not working, the other thing I'll add in too, though, is, some of these different homeschooling styles require more of mom or less of mom. And in various seasons, I need to assess both for our family dynamic and then just our relationship with the child, like which child needs more independence,
Yeah.
or does mom need more time? And that does play into philosophy too.
Yeah, that's such a true concept. Okay, so on that n nice pivot, positive pivot, what are some things that you really love doing with your kids and materials that you use from year to year?
Ooh, from year to year, what do I use? Um, we have stayed really, really consistent with math from K through 12 for all my kids so far, but one. And that kid has special needs. I mean, they all have some special needs, but that kid has the most. And so we've used Matthew C, and it's worked
Mhm.
for my mathy kid, who is now an engineering student, and my non-mathy kid, who is now an English major. So I like that, and we've stuck with that throughout the years. Because I still hold on to the literature-based learning of Charlotte Mason, there's not a lot of like curriculum that I have stuck with through the years because I pick and choose the books that I feel, the kids are going to benefit from. Middle school and high school, all of them have experienced with Homeschool Connections. And, I love the variety of classes they have because those classes have they have all the different philosophies, all the different methods and approaches within one platform. And we use a lot of recorded classes to take that off my plate in those years. And so we've stuck with them and really been happy with them. And then just, um, let's see. I mean, there's books on my shelf that I've used with every kid, but I can't really say that I wouldn't change them if I didn't need to. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, that makes total sense. We use
Yeah.
both of those resources, Matthew C. and Homeschool Connections, and they have been
Hmm.
lifesavers just for
Yeah.
subjects I'm not passionate about or that I don't
Yeah.
have a lot of tactical knowledge in, like history. History I
Hmm.
love, but I don't major in it. So to have Philip Campbell teach history and grade the essay is 100% a gift.
Right. And I will say I fall in love with new programs every year that work for my kids. So I have my youngest is super creative
Mhm.
and super language artsy. And I just started at the recommendation of a friend using some language arts materials from Michael Clay Thompson, and I'm loving
Really?
them. Like
Oh,
it's a
that's so
new to
exciting.
us, but it's like
Yeah.
this is great. I don't know that they would have worked with my other kids either. So that's
Yeah.
kind of a interesting question.
It is. It's fun. What has been the funniest or most unexpected thing that's happened to you in the past few years homeschooling your kids?
Okay, so I sometimes tell this story, but like I love reading aloud and I love reading with my kids because the literature thing is my thing.
Yeah.
I have boys and all three were, younger boys. And my oldest boy is a little quieter than the other two, and the other two are just normal boys that are all over the place and move all the time. So funny experiences is that there was a season and they've grown mostly out of it, which makes me sad. But my boys, my two youngest, would wrestle silently while I would read aloud. And I just decided to be okay with that because my
Yeah.
rules during read aloud were you have to stay in the room and you have
Yep.
to not make noise. I
Right.
don't care if you're hanging upside down from your toes or you're building the biggest castle ever with blocks or Legos or drawing or whatever. You have to stay in the room. Oh, and no, there's a third rule, and you can't do anything else with words. So you can't be writing or reading something
Yeah.
because then you're not listening to my words.
Right.
But so one day they just started kind of wrestling, and I was like, "Y'all know you have to be quiet," and they were like, "Uh-huh," and I let it go, and they listened, and they were quiet, and they would wrestle. It was adorable.
Yeah. I have a funny story related to that, if you don't mind me sharing. So
Oh.
we were listening to audiobook Alice Through the Looking Glass, but
Mhm.
then they were so goofy, I thought they weren't really listening. And so I would read aloud the same story to them at night. And my middle, Lucia, was correcting my dictation. She's like, Mom, you're not doing the Griffin's voice correctly. The Griffin sounds like this. I'm like, I was in such shock that they could listen with their ears and still do cartwheels and
Mhm.
spin and play with Legos, and it just completely changed my philosophy around reading aloud. Like
Yeah.
we from that journey on, we did audiobooks more often, and
Mhm.
it made me a better read aloud mom because it gave me tools that I didn't know that these professional actors knew. So
Nice. Nice. I
yeah,
don't always do voices. Like there's only a few books that I'll do voices for.
yeah,
Um, I like Winnie the Pooh voices. And but my kids do love audiobooks. I just don't like I'd rather read.
yeah, yeah. What has been the hardest part about homeschooling for you, and how have you handled it so far?
Um, Honestly, being home. And I know people say, well, homeschoolers aren't really home that much because they're involved in all kinds of things. My family is the type that isn't involved in a ton of things. We pick very carefully because of special needs, because of personalities. Literally, I'm in a house full of introverts. I only got one extrovert, but I am a full-blown extrovert. So
Yeah,
staying home and making myself stay home so that we have the routine and the rhythm that my kids need to thrive and get the work done is has been hard. So I have to like set rules for myself on how many days a week I'm allowed to go do something, and I mean more than just a little like run out for one little thing. But if we're going to spend a day or the morning out, I need to really choose that carefully. So it's kind of how I've been like, okay, you get one freebie a week where you get to, go out when you should probably be staying home and doing the schoolwork. So
yeah,
yeah,
same.
that's
Hardest
been hard
part.
for me.
Full
And
extrovert with two introvert kids.
yep. And not having interaction with other moms, really, other
Yeah.
adults. So like my poor husband when he comes home, So I've solved that a little bit with Heart of a Mother because I get to talk to moms all the time online. It's not the same, but it helps.
Yeah.
And I'm always like texting a friend, like every day there'll be like one friend I'm touching base with just so that I feel connected to the outside world.
Yes. I feel like that adult interaction is such a key dopamine boost for myself
Mhm.
that I need it daily and I can't apologize for the need for it. And
Mhm.
however I can figure it out, I figure it out.
Yep.
And so that's been a key indicator of where we choose to do extracurriculars because it
Mm,
has to fulfill credit, it has to fulfill the kids' needs, but it also has to be something for myself as well because
right.
I'm the one driving you there.
Yeah.
So
When you
yeah,
said drop off classes or co-op classes, that's why I picked co-op. I was like, well, at least
yeah,
there I'm interacting with other people and I need that.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Okay. Do you have personal or professional experience with learning challenges, giftedness, or asynchronous development?
oh gosh, yes. So, crash course over here. So I have we have autism, ADHD, and anxiety all diagnosed in various kids and various combinations. And
Yeah,
so that has led me to lots of research on how to help them and how to teach them and how to mother them
yeah,
and be there for them and what resources are out there. And then so that's carried over into my consulting when I work with clients, and I can help with that because I've done
yeah.
that and I've researched that and I know kind of a lot of things that tend to work. Not always because every kid's different,
Right.
but yep,
It's different, but if you have those needs and you've had them in those developmental years, you've seen them go from an upper elementary to a high schooler, you know
yes,
what resources to give mothers when they're
yes,
trying to just fix the problem and not experiment.
right. It's like I've been
Because,
there and looking
yeah,
back, I wish someone had said this.
right. Because when we're pulling kids from to homeschool them, and you've had clients do this, if they're in middle school, if they're in seventh or eighth grade, you don't have a lot of time to experiment before they
Right.
need to start going to high school credits. And you
Yes,
have
that's
that
true.
experience already.
Yeah.
So, without sharing too many personal details of the client, how have you
Mhm.
helped guide them with consulting, whether it's educational needs or personality needs?
Yeah. Um, So, things that come to mind are working on daily routines with mamas, because a lot of times they're like, we're just not getting stuff done, or this isn't getting done, or I can't figure out how to do this. So, we'll all say, okay, well, tell me a typical day, and we'll go through and we'll kind of highlight the pain points and isolate, okay, where could we adjust? What small changes could you make to make things run more smoothly? Um, so that's one thing that came to mind. Obviously, choosing curriculum. I mean, a lot I've done all the research since I've done like so many things, and I continue to try to stay up to date with all the new things as well. So
Yeah,
I know what's out there. I can cut down your research time. And so I've helped with a lot of that. But the other thing that comes to mind is really just something that's close to my heart is that relationship building with your kids, especially teens, but
yeah,
kids of elementary, middle school, high school. And I've worked with quite a few moms recently about that teen relationship and how to, be on their side and be on their team while still being the parent and work within their needs, even if they're special needs, like making those accommodations that are appropriate. So a lot of that, just like, what is this behavior saying? Because behavior is communication, right?
yeah. That's the only way they know how to communicate for the most part. They're
So
still
how can
learning.
we, yeah, how can we address
Yeah.
that? So,
All right. Last question. If you could take your dream homeschool field trip anywhere in the world with no budget, how long would you stay and where would you go?
oh gosh, how long?
No budget.
Yeah, I mean, no budget has to be given because I'm not going anywhere now. Let's see. So I would go take the family back to Rome. We had the
Yeah.
blessing of going to Rome when my husband was deployed and had some leave, and so we went together. But we only stayed like 4 days. It was
Oh
awful. Like
gosh.
I wish
Yeah.
we could have stayed weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
So I would do Rome and the Holy Land. I would really like to see the Holy Land. I would like my kids to see that. So we would just go, and I don't know how long it would take because I mean, we could spend a couple of months, I bet. That would be like a really, really enjoyable time. I would really like
Yeah.
that.
That would be beautiful. Well, thank you
Yep.
so much, Jenny, for taking
Yes,
time and answering
thank
my
you.
questions. Appreciate
Answer the
it.
questions that I mostly wrote, but gave you freedom to adjust however you
Freedom
wanted.
to adjust.
You did great. No, thank
Oh,
you. I was really a blessing to be able to do this and have my story, like my experience be told, because sometimes I forget that.
you have almost 2 decades worth of knowledge in homeschool world.
Oh, yeah. And the
But what a
joys and the
gift you
miseries.
are to the community.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're very, very sweet. Yeah, if anybody watching this wants to know more about what we do at Heart of a Mother, just head over to heartofamother.net and you'll find all the resources. Click on the free resources page to learn all about what we're doing over there. Most of what we do, as we alluded to, is consulting, and we have one-on-one consulting calls where you can just sign up for like one call and chat with one of our consultants, me, Amy, or Stacy, or you can sign up for like a bundle and meet with us monthly to make progress. We also have a membership, which is an intimate community of Catholic homeschool moms that meet weekly on Zoom for consulting and prayer and accountability and goal setting and all those kind of beautiful things as well. We try really hard to keep everything flexible and affordable for busy homeschooling moms because I know that you cannot add one more thing to your plate. So we try to keep it very baby step oriented. So heartofamother.net is where you want to go for that. And Selena, thank you again for
Oh,
spending
no
your
problem.
time with me this morning.
Happy to do it.
All right. Great to see you. And I did not mention this interview was a part of Sunroom Week, which is a special week we do periodically to give everybody a sneak peek of our Sunroom membership. And so a lot of our mamas are coming in this week to just see what's the Sunroom all about. And if
Yeah.
you're watching this video, you can message us for more info.